you guys, welcome back to Michael Clarida Arts. Man, it's been a hot minute since I've done a video for you guys, but I've been endeavoring to get back every single day. It's just sometimes, the career and making a living gets in the way. I am, of course, a working illustrator. I am not just a YouTube human, but I am a working illustrator that has deadlines to meet and lots of projects going on. And, that's the way it goes. We're talking children's books, we're talking product design, we're talking 3D work. I mean, it's just layered on top of each other. And sometimes the videos just kind of fall through the cracks. So my apologies for that. But what we're going to do today is kind of twofold. We're going to draw, of course, because this, of course, is a drawing channel. And I want to make sure and cover my base viewer and user, and make sure that you guys are covered. But also, we on occasion review tech on this channel, technology, whether it's a tablet, a display tablet, a computer, some type of peripheral, or I think the last thing I reviewed for you guys was a folding desk, which was pretty cool. But today we're gonna go and we're gonna do something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I say that because I like good design, and especially product design, things that make sense, things that add to the value of your experience as a user of a product. Case in point, right? So whenever you buy one of the new products out there, I'm talking about a tablet, the new tablet products, let me clarify that, they are beautiful. They are absolutely gorgeous. If technology can be gorgeous, right? Some of the new tablets that are out there are just wonderful, just marvels of technology, from speed to portability to fit and finish to materials. The modern tablet is a wonder of technology and innovation by human beings. You've got so many different iterations of tablets these days. You've got Samsung, right? I've even reviewed, from Samsung to iPads to some of the, lesser known brands out there. But unfortunately, if you have owned one of these tablets, you have to be really careful with it. And you know that the modern tablet is not made of a material that is super durable if you drop it. Now, if you drop it from maybe a foot, or if you, toss it on the bed or gently lay it somewhere, you want to, you're always conscious of the screen. You're always conscious of the back screen now, not even a back screen, the back covering, because typically the new ones are made of glass. You don't want to scratch it up because it is an investment, and they're, $1,000, $1,300, $1,500 for these tablets, and you get them in and you're like, oh man, I don't know what to do. So then what do? You have to go and you have to invest in a case, right? We do the same things with our phones. We do the same things. Even nowadays they've got cases for, earbuds. I mean, it's one of those things where the manufacturers manufacture the product, and then you have the secondary market, which looks at it and says, hey, we can make some money on that. And that is what we're going to do today. So I have owned iPads since the original iPad came out, right? I don't know when that was. And the first thing I did after I literally in the same day I ordered the iPad, and then the second thing I did on the same day was order a case, because cases are important. And you want one that works, you want one that doesn't fall apart, you want one that doesn't damage your tablet, you want one that looks good, that's functional, that isn't made of materials that'll fall apart, materials that will degrade or be bad for the environment, and you want something that will protect your quote-unquote investment, to the point to where after you've used it in your user cycle, maybe you can turn around and sell your tablet or unit or case or whatever and get some money returned back to you. So we're going to review a case by a company called TSQQST. I remember whenever I got the email for this, I'm like, TSQQST, what does that even mean? So TSQ stands for Top Quality Service. I'm not sure about QST, but whenever I clicked on the link that they had in the description, first they wanted to see if I would review some of their other tablet cases for smaller iPads. I've since moved up to the 12.9 inch, and now I'm only interested in the 12.9 because I use it for drawing. So they sent me the 12.9 inch case that is for the third generation iPad, because that's the one I have, the third generation 12.9 Pro. I believe the cycle of that particular iPad was 2018, 2019, and I'm not sure the form factor has changed. And what's great about companies like this is they'll manufacture a case and then they'll modify it slightly to where it'll fit even the most modern iPad. So it indicates it's for the third, fourth, fifth generation 12.9 inch iPad Pro 2021, 2020, 2018. So hopefully we can do a really quick unboxing because it came in, a really rudimentary box, and we'll look at the case. And I'm going to show you exactly what happens. Actually, I'm going to do it right now. So this is what happens whenever you don't buy the right case. So you've all seen cracked iPads before. You see that right there? This crack happened in the case, okay? It actually happened in this case. This case is made by UAG, and I paid about $75 for this case. And unfortunately, it's marketed as being a really rugged, robust case that'll protect your iPad. And unfortunately, it was leaning up against the shoulder or the armrest of the chair, and my son ended up partially sitting on it, and it bent. You can see there's the there's the port, and it bent the iPad. And whenever he went to go and push it back because it doesn't want to upset his dad that he just destroyed his iPad, it cracked the screen. So unfortunately, some cases are not made like other cases, and we all know this. We all have this in our brain. Whenever we go and we search on Amazon, and we're like, I just need a case for the iPad, 12.9 Pro 2018, and it'll pull up a whole page, if not 3 pages, 4 pages of iPad cases ranging in price from $5 to $150. And you're thinking, okay, the $150 case is going to be better. And that's not always the case, because that UAG did not protect my iPad at all. And that's really kind of sad, because who do I blame in that instance? Do I blame me? Do I blame my son? Do I blame the iPad? Do I blame the case? Ultimately, it comes down to I invested in the case failed, and it cracked the iPad. Actually, it didn't crack the iPad, it bent the computer, and then that cracked. So this particular case that I'll be reviewing today it has a screen protector on it, which is really cool. And it retails on Amazon for $17.42. Retail typical price is about $18 to $19. So I'm just thinking about $20 all in with shipping, tax, and everything. You can get the case that we'll be reviewing today. So we will be unboxing, installing, and doing a quick drawing on the iPad to kind of show that the case is not obtrusive, or if it is obtrusive, this is an unbiased review. And if it's worth your money, right? You invest so much money in these devices that you want them to work. And one of the big things for me, especially whenever I went and I was looking at cases, is it has to have a spot for the pencil, right? There's no reason for me not to buy a case that doesn't have a pencil holder, because I'm not going to carry the pencil somewhere else. I mean, it has to be magnetized to the side of the iPad for it to charge, and it just makes sense. So this one does have a place for a pencil holder, and let's see what the TSQQST iPad case for the 12.9 Pro has to offer. Okay, and here's the TSQQST iPad Pro 12.9 case in its baggie, as received in the mail. Comes in one of these very typical acetate bags from China. And then, of course, it's got the installation guide, which, which is always fascinating. So I don't know how to install. Okay, this is already a case in point. I don't know how to install this, and already I can't get to the instructions to see how to take it apart. So in the future, guys, place the instruction manual on the outside, and the little thing here is already popped off. Okay, so first overall, it's got a very nice rubberized feel. It's kind of like a spiderweb feel, which is kind of cool. Looks like kind of a Spider-Man type deal. The plastic is decent. It's not amazing. So just because I've owned, and it's robust. I mean, this is a robust case. This is not like some of the other cases that I have experienced before. Very similar to some of the higher end cases, and I can already tell you at $17.42 currently advertised on Amazon. I mean, the rubber the rubber in and of itself is really nice. It's got some nice cushion. Looks like it's going to protect the iPad very well. Of course, you know, I said that about the other unit that I paid $75 for. So okay, so as we go through, we're looking for some tabs that maybe, okay, I see some arrows here, arrows here, arrows here. Now I do have a pocket knife, but a lot of people aren't comfortable with using pocket knives, so I'm not going to use that as much as I can. And I don't want to break it, right? Okay, so it looks like you can just pry it out a little bit. There we go, and it comes right out. One of the things that I can already tell you, and this is something that I know, right now there's a very, I don't know if you can see it, there's a very thin film of material. I don't even know how I would get that off. I'd have to clean it. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like, right now it's foggy. So if you look, it's foggy. So I put that on my iPad. What am I going to see? I'm going to see a foggy screen. So let's go ahead. Hopefully that's just a thin film that's on there. Okay, let's get this out. Gravity, you are my friend. And you are the law, gravity. Okay. Of course, whenever you don't have a pocket knife, use your teeth. Not really, don't use your teeth. That's a bad thing to say. Okay, installation guide. Obviously take it apart like I did. Peel off the silicone shell from all four corners, which is nice. Separate from the front and rear camera. Blah, blah, blah. Place your tablet into the rear frame. Align the frame after the assembly is complete. Align the four corners. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, pretty simple, right? Get the iPad to where it's in the upper right-hand corner. Okay. Here's our trusty iPad. This, of course, doesn't have any breaks in it. You can see. Okay. It'll turn on. There we go. And we place it into the unit. So already, what I like, if you look, you have a distance, probably a quarter of an inch distance from the iPad edge all the way around the unit. That protects, let's make sure, that protects the unit. Actually, it's a little bit less than that, probably a quarter of an inch. And it kind of seats in. It goes in there like that. And then this, which, again, we've got that cloudiness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that really quick. Actually, hold on. Okay, so my mistake. So now look, they put a clean film on the inside of this because they knew that you were going to be a person like me. Now this already has a screen protector on it, and I'm not going to take that off because it's specifically for drawing. But you know, for posterity in this review, we're going to leave that on. But here's the little green tab, and it peels off. Look at that. So clear. Look at that. Beautiful. Now, we're not going to put our fingerprints on it. Okay, make sure that we have this correct. We're going to flip this around. Okay, and it seats. And there are tabs. And you'll hear the click in different areas, possibly. Yeah, there we go. There's a click. There's another click. making sure all of these tabs are secured and the iPad is safe and sound inside of its new home. Okay, and then finally, the last layer of protection, which will be the silicone shell. And it's not glue. Oh, this already came off. Okay, let's look again. A lot of times there's something that is very prevalent in my life, and I'm sure you've experienced this before. It's called user error. Yeah, it's not, I want it to click really good, because right now, okay, let's go back. Oops, wrong side. Place the iPad into the sleeve. Okay. Slowly but surely, just by putting it in here, here, here. Now this is not waterproof, and it's probably not dust proof either. It is just to help secure your rather expensive electronic device. And it goes in there's little tabs on the inside. You can feel it seat. And it goes in, you can feel them, and it just goes click, 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 click. Then, now this will increase the form factor of your iPad significantly, and in terms of weight, it is. I mean, it adds quite a bit of weight. I don't know how heavy it is. Let's see. Item weight. The item by itself, the case is a pound. So you're adding a pound to your existing iPad. Now it does have like a little screen, not a screen, but a pencil holder. And it's charging all the time, which is really nice. So if you need to pop it out, all you do is you reach around with your hand and you pop your pencil out, right? And then you can just go to town, okay? So what we're gonna do, because I'm a man of my word, is we're gonna go ahead and set this up, and we're gonna draw something on the iPad inside, excuse me, inside of the TSQQST iPad 12.9 case. I mean, for $17, that's not bad. It's not a bad case at all. Here's the included stand, right? So it's very elegant. So we're going to have it in this current configuration. I'm not going to put it on one of my existing laptop stands, but I'm going to have it just like this as you would receive it, so you can kind of feel and see exactly what you can expect from this particular case, and using it in your studio. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so just as I showed you a minute ago, I'm going to go ahead and start the process. So the case itself is really good. It's sturdy, like I said, and it's got a nice rubberized feel. So whenever I'm drawing here, the provided little stand in the back that comes out of the back here is quite robust and nice. It's very sturdy, and I don't think I'll have any problems, drawing here on my desk. So I draw in, let's see, let's go a bit greener. I draw in Procreate on the iPad. I know that there's quite a few other applications, but Procreate is something that I've used for a very long time, and I don't use it as much as I probably should. But that being said, that's probably going to change, just because, the nature of what I do and the travel and stuff like that. And overall, I do enjoy the iPad. I do enjoy Procreate a lot. The problem that I have with Procreate, as with a lot of applications on the Macintosh Apple platform, especially the iPad, is, Procreate is only on the iPad. But it is good, but on the same accord, it's hard to do certain things for me, right? I'm talking certain muscle memory things that I do overall. And it's just sometimes frustrating. That's why I mean, I have quite a few videos on here that I've done on the iPad. But, you know, overall, I think I just, you know, my desktop is a Macintosh, but on the other hand, I just, you know, I have that muscle memory inside that I've used for so many years. And whenever I get on a device like this, I kind of have to relearn and remember stuff. Overall. Now, I put a screen protector on all my devices, just because of the nature of what I do. I don't want to scratch screen. And the reality is, you know, in drawing, you don't want a real slick surface. You want some texture, and you don't want a lot of glare. Unfortunately, the screen protector they put on there is quite shiny, and it, you know, it is what it is. So I'm just going to have to deal with that, you know, especially as per this review. The case is a case. Only time will tell, really. I mean, I'm not going to do a drop test because I don't, these days, even with, you know, good cases, there's always that possibility of you hitting the corner wrong and you breaking it. And that is not good, right? Especially whenever you have invested so many dollars. But this case seems, I mean, it's thick on the side. It's got a nice rubber bumper. And I would think that, and it's also got a bevel. So this outward beveling, you know, if it were to fall on the face like this, and if it were to hit, I think that the case would absorb a large amount of the force that would be involved in dropping a product like this. iPads are not, they're not lightweight. Let's be real, they're not. And, you know, to think otherwise, especially the largest of them, which is the 12.9. I did hear recently that they might be adding an iPad Ultra or something like that. You know, their new verbiage that they use, their nomenclature that they've got in their world. It's like Ultra, Super Pro, Awesome, Max. And I've said this before, and I know that a lot of people do make their living on the iPad, and I think that's great. I think that overall it is a very robust machine, but for me, it's just, you know, you can do pro work on it, and I have done pro work on it before, but on the other hand, is it really designed as a replacement for your laptop, for your display tablet, for your desktop? I really don't think so. I think that it is a peripheral, and even though it's a strong peripheral, you know, some of the new iPads come with really strong, you know, very, very powerful chipsets. You know, the M2, which so far is, you know, I actually have a brand new Mini that I bought recently to be a companion with my M1 Mini, and it's been far and beyond what I thought was possible, you know, with a small computer like that, because I'm used to the big boys, right, the big computers, and seeing that machine do what it does at such a small form factor was, you know, has been pretty awesome. So I mean, what you're seeing, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, I did stuff like this because most people will review the case, you know, to take 5 minutes, and that'll be it. It's a case. What are you going to say about it, right? There's not much to say. But I think it's important because, you know, we as users, you know, you invest those dollars, and suddenly, you know, just like I invested $70-something in that case, and whenever the time came for it to be tested, it failed and it broke the iPad. So, you know, that stinks. So what I'm drawing right now is a red panda. For those of you who are interested in knowing what I'm drawing, I don't think I'm doing a very good job of it, to be honest with you. This is, of course, the sketch. It's funny, whenever you see somebody drawing and they're narrating like I am, I'm very distracted when I'm narrating. I typically, whenever I draw, I put on headphones, and I'll go in my land, you know, my land of imagination. But whenever you're doing stuff like this, let's give a couple rocks here. You know, you're distracted. You're distracted with narrating and keeping it lively and whatnot. Let's do a couple. right? He's laying down. I recently went to the zoo because I'm a zoo person. My family and I have, since the kids were born, I have 2 kids, and we love going to the zoo. Of course, it's mostly daddy. Mommy loves going to the zoo too. She loves learning about animals. We watch a lot of documentaries about animals because we're animal people, you know, dog people, and animals in general. I just love the animal world. And it was just a wonderful time. I live in a very rural part of Georgia. We're talking don't go down the dirt road because, you know, you might hear gunshots. You know, somebody hunting, because there's a lot of hunting going around here, and a lot of wildlife too. We've got bears, we've got turkeys, we've got deer, you know, we've got wild hogs, and just a myriad of different birds, and it's really, you know, I'm very grateful for where I live. But you know, definitely going to the zoo is something that is kind of a treat for my family and I. We just love going. You know, we did the theme parks. We did that already. We did the theme parks. That's a, you know, that's a zoo, and that was really an experience. Of course, you know, whenever you go to like Animal Kingdom and stuff, and Busch Gardens, and one can argue that zoos are cruel, and I understand that. But I mean, where in the world would I have the opportunity to see a red panda who's very well taken care of? He's not beaten. I mean, he looks extremely healthy. And some of the animals, you know, they have to live in zoos because of poachers and people that really abuse animals in general for their intrinsic properties, whether it be their fur, their bones, their, you know, if you use it in your culture, you know, sharks and stuff like that. There's a big problem with sharks that are being killed for their fins because of the soup. But I believe in respecting wildlife, and I love it. I think that animals will surprise you every single time that, you know, that you experience them. Case in point, let me see if I can bring it up. Right there. So this picture right here, I took at the zoo, and this was a chimpanzee, as it goes away. This was a chimpanzee that was just sitting there, and it was in the morning, and he was contemplating. Look at him. He's so beautiful. I just look at that, and I just, it actually, you know, I got very emotional whenever I saw it, because, you know, it really kind of makes you think. He would rather be obviously in the woods, but you never know the situation, right? You never know if maybe they were saved from poachers, because I know a lot of animals that are in zoos are rescues, you know, whether they've been injured or their habitat has been destroyed. So anyway, so far the case isn't moving, right? It doesn't move because it's rubberized on the bottom. It's got that. Now what I would change is I would put a little rubber, or even make this rubber on the back, because even though it doesn't slide, I would like it to be really secure. I mean, the positioning is really good on it. Really nice. Okay, for those of you who don't know, one of the creatures from Kung Fu Panda is a red panda, and I think that's Shifu. Is it Shifu? I think it is. Here we go. Okay. Let's go ahead over here, make sure the anatomy is right. So now I put in the roadmap. I call it the roadmap because now I get to go in, and he's laying on a rock. So I'm going to have that rock come here, give it a little bit of texture here. He comes up, that rock comes around, and he's laying on it, so it's going to come up. And it's kind of a slope. So whenever I was looking at this particular creature, he was way up high, probably about 12 feet in the air, and they had an enclosure, and it was just really cool because you could actually walk in the enclosure. You know, I'm not sure if you had to pay extra or not, but you walk in the enclosure and you can go and feed the pandas. I'm like, what? Now, I don't think these creatures, the red pandas, are pandas in the panda bears. They're not bears. They're like a raccoon type creature. I think that ear's in the wrong spot, so we're going to go ahead and change that over a little bit. and you can see definitely the relationship between, I don't know the scientific reference for these creatures or anything like with the phylum or the, you know, what animal group they're in. I just like to draw them. So you can see, okay, this hand comes around. Fascinating. And I watched numerous people go in and fed, you know, they fed this this panda, this red panda, and he was so friendly. Of course, he's, again, you know, creatures and animals that have been raised a certain way by human beings have accustomed to human beings, you know, their presence, but by no means was this animal tame, right? I always cringe whenever I see people going into enclosures, or whenever, you know, like at zoos, not at zoos, like at state fairs when they have a tiger and, oh, come pet the tiger. No, I will never pet a tiger. I'm sorry. That is a large man-eating animal, and I just don't feel comfortable doing that. And, you know, numerous times, you know, just look on YouTube, you can see so many videos of just people being foolish whenever it comes to animals. And, you know, I love animals so much. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and start shading in. So up here, now I put a log right here because that's what was in the, a little bit of, that's what's in the reference. But I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that. A little bit of texture here. We're going to turn this a little bit. We're going to have this come down. Okay, so framing. Now, whenever I took the picture, I'll go ahead and show you the picture because I took it. It's my picture, my reference. So here's the picture, right? So you can see that I took some liberties with the girth. I've taken some liberties with the pose. I wanted the panda to look at the viewer. So now, you know, in the background, it wasn't really exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in a little bit of stuff right here. And I want this to kind of jump out a little bit. Using it framing as framing elements, right? You have this rock right here, and this is me telling you and my thought process, because a lot of times artists and people on YouTube, they'll just do it and they'll not tell you why. I want to explain to you why. So first of all, it's cut in half. The composition's cut in half. It's not right in the center. He's left of center, so rule of thirds. Cut. Here, we'll go ahead and do this. I'll show you. Red. So I've got it. I don't know why it's not doing that. Black. Okay, good. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rule of thirds, typically you don't want anything right in the center because that kind of brings everything and it deadens everything out. So you kind of have things shifted a little bit and down. So right about here, anything that intersects is where it's going to draw your eye. This upper half, now right now it's right, I have it right near the center and just below. So it gives you a sense of movement. And I've got this large mass right here that's kind of pointed in this direction. Again, to help move your eye through the composition. And I'm putting elements like this element, and this element to fill up this negative space. And here we are. I've got this tree that is again acting as a framing element for this head. And see, it comes here and it kind of reinforces the curvature of his arm. So all those things, whenever I'm drawing, I'm thinking, you know, composition, composition, composition. And see, right now, I can already tell after I've done that, that I want to go back in and maybe have, whoops, we're still red. And go back in and maybe do a couple leaves here and there. Maybe have another branch right here. Right? Maybe it's a log. Maybe it's a branch. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's little. And sometimes it's the randomness of it that helps me process the composition, process things a little bit better. See, that's a tangent right there. We don't like tangents. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to erase that. Okay, tangent is whenever you have two endpoints coming together. Like if I were to have something like a rock that's or a leaf. Let's say I wanted a leaf in the real foreground. This one's okay. This one's okay. The second it touches him, it puts this in the foreground on the same plane as this in the background. And then I can't discern or decide a distance relationship between those two elements. So that's why it's such a problem. I don't know why it's not erasing. Undo paint stroke. Why is it not doing that? That's okay. We'll just hit eraser. One of the conundrums that is the iPad Pro. Sometimes it doesn't do what you ask. Isn't that fascinating? I know how to use Procreate. I've used it for years. You know, it just doesn't. Looks like sometimes it just doesn't want to do what I ask it to do. Yeah, even this is a little bit much, and I'll probably edit that. So we'll have a couple things here and there, some plants and whatnot. And as I progress through, I just want to get the base down, the roadmap, so where I can go into time lapse. Because this is obviously illustration, drawing takes time. I mean, you have people that have been doing this for years that can plan things out in their mind's eye and do things really quickly. I have the ability to do that sometimes. But most of the time, no, I need to work things out. I need to look at them. I need to look at them again. I need to make sure that that's what I want to do. Yeah, and sometimes I get frustrated and I have to walk away, you know, especially if I'm having technical problems. Okay, so for some of you that follow me on the channel before, and I've, you know, shown you my Procreate brushes, I have a lot of Procreate brushes. I do not recommend you do this. Okay, this is probably 5 to 7 years of Procreate brushes, and it's a little ridiculous. And I will not, you know, I look at this and it's kind of embarrassing. But on the other hand, I do have a few that I use, and unfortunately I get lost. You ever do that? You get lost? Like, I have no idea where I am. Like right now, I feel like I'm lost because I'm looking for specific pens. Where are they? Watercolor. No. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a layer because I want to have control over the opacity. And like this right here, I want to be darker. This right here, I want to be a little bit darker. And again, we're just mapping things out a little bit, trying to get a tonal, you know, just put a little bit of shadow in here. He is the focus, so I mean this right arm is quite dark, like right here is quite dark, and he's red, so he's going to have a different value shift. And then I've got this texture here. Okay, and again the case, you know, the case is doing exactly what it needs to do, which is nothing. It protects. It's standing firm. Right? It's not getting in the way. It's not obtrusive. It's not creaking or cracking. It's not doing anything that, you know, I would deem irritating, especially in the context of drawing. You never want your technology to be irritating, and trust me, I have had irritating technology, which I'm sure you have as well. Okay. You can just do some arbitrary lines of motion in the background. All right, so that nose comes up. He's such a cutie. A little bit darker on the bottom. Again, this isn't a rendering. This is a sketch. This is just having fun. I always try to tell people, especially those that are doing this as a job, right? I remember being at the big boy studios and them saying, you know, I asked, you know, do you draw at home? They're like, no. And I said, really? You don't do anything for yourself? No, I'm pretty tired whenever I get home. I just want to relax and be with my family. And I said, all right, well, that's fine. But I said, you always need to do something for yourself. Always. Right? You never know when that job that J-O-B, because we've all had J-O-Bs, will go away. All right, so here he is. He's just chilling like a little villain, like a little bandit. Raccoons are bandits, man. But he's not a raccoon. He's a red panda. So this is obviously the rough sketch, and what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to put you guys on time lapse and just have a little fun, right? It's not going to be super rendered. Overall, that's another thing I don't like about Apple Pencil. It's like I pull away and I do something, and then it switches to eraser. Ugh, I know I can change that. I know, you don't have to tell me. I can change it. Do whatever I want. It's just irritating. It's like that by default. It's probably user error. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on with the red panda sketch on the QST. Hold on. The TSQQST iPad Pro 12.9 case review. All right, enjoy. And here's where we're going to land with this particular piece today. I had a lot of fun drawing this piece. You know, the focus of this video isn't the drawing, but the reality is, you know, the case can't really inhibit me from drawing. And this particular case, although bulky and weighty, it does have that stand on the back that really, you know, if you're drawing on a table, it is the absolute perfect angle for drawing. So what did I actually think of the TSQQST case for the iPad Pro 12.9 6th generation? So, you know, whenever I initially got contacted for this particular review, I was excited, but on the other hand, a little hesitant, because I have an affinity for cases and things that, you know, as far as technology goes, adds to the fulfillment and enjoyment of the product. And frankly, the iPad is a very, how do I put it? It's a very expensive commodity, right? You go out and you spend, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 125, $150 to protect your device for the life and duration that you own it, typically 4 to 5 years. This case is good. It's robust. It's, you know, like I said, the silicone wrapping is really good. I love the stand on the back as I attempt. It's very easy to use. And the only, I would say, it's not really a complaint. The only observation that I would have as far as maybe making a change is it's heavy. It's over a pound, right? You know, it adds to the weight of the iPad. The iPad's already heavy. I think the iPad's like 2.5, 3 pounds. So at the end of the day, whenever you have this, it is heavy, and you know, you're carrying it around, you're jostling it. The iPad 12 is a big device. Case in point, just to let you understand, this particular review was based on the iPad that I purchased a while back. I believe it was 2019, 2020. And this case is compatible from 2020 iPad 12.9 all the way up to the current iPad. Now I went out and upgraded the iPad. So this is the most current iteration of the iPad. So those of you who are kind of on the fence and looking for something, and you've got an older iPad, this particular case will fit it. Just go on the, you know, Amazon, search TSQQST, and they've got a myriad of different cases for different years of iPads and stuff like that. One of the things that I always search for, and this is extremely important to me, and I'm not sure if it is for others, is the fact that it has a pencil holder right here that I can just go ahead and you know, put the pencil inside. Some cases don't have that. The only thing that it doesn't have is impact protection for the screen. Like if you were to accidentally drop it and it comes to a point, you're not going to get that impact protection on the screen. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't really take my iPad, this particular iPad, out on, you know, hiking and adventures. So hopefully you guys got something from this review. The retail of this particular iPad case is $20. It's about $19.99. And I believe they've got Prime shipping if you've got Prime. Prime free shipping, yes. Prime free returns, and then yes, it's exclusive Prime price. So if you have Prime on Amazon, it's $17.39. So I think that's a bargain, you know, especially whenever you look at some of the other cases that I've purchased for iPads in the past. You're looking, you know, one of the cases I bought was $75, and at the end of the day, that didn't protect the iPad and it broke. So I'm not saying this one will protect your iPad from everything, but based upon the construction, the materials, and you know, the fact that I put it through its paces. Now I didn't do drop tests. That's one, that's one of the things I won't do on this channel. Yeah, I've got a $1,500 iPad. I'm just gonna drop it. No, I don't have. My channel isn't designed in that way that I can just frivolously destroy technology, you know, and then come back for more. Channel's not that big yet. So, but anyway, hopefully you guys got something from the drawing. I really enjoyed it, and the case, you know, didn't detract me from the creation of the image. So hopefully you got something, and as always, you know, go out and do something fun today. Like and subscribe if you like what you see, and if you're interested in this case, I don't get any kickbacks from it or anything like that. So the link is in the description below, and hopefully you liked what you saw. and we'll see you next time. Okay, guys? Bye.